Hi YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and this is Outsiders, and this is the final video before Friday regarding the Tomb of Curses, and I'm sharing it with you to give you some thoughts about the design process around the tomb, hopefully some tips to survive it, and some general thought processes to make life a little bit easier when you go in. So the first thing to bear in mind is in the tomb there will be an element of trust. You are players of an RPG community, and therefore as a referee, as I can't monitor your progress, although there will be certain key points which I will explain in a minute that I can, the reality is there's got to be a certain amount of trust. So there will be situations within the tomb where you may have to make rolls on your own. Shock, horror, I hear you say, but that's a reality of it. You're going to have to check things for yourself. If you fail, then you should be a gentleman or a lady about these things and actually just admit that that's what happened and go to that video. If your character should die, leave a comment in the tomb. You can just say this is where Johann fell, Joachim, whatever. If you want to leave comments and lie to other players who are following after you, by all means do. Say things like, yeah, jump in, drink this, take that. You can do whatever you want to do. That's perfectly acceptable and all part of the Tomb of Curses. So there will be bits in the Tomb of Curses where you can only access private videos through me by having reached those points. And therefore as well, by very definition, I would know if someone can complete something because they will be able to provide me with some answers or solutions. And there will equally maybe some bits within the tomb that are not covered off on the first set of videos. So therefore, of course, you will have to approach me direct and ask for that video. So you might come up with something quite clever that I hadn't thought of, and I shall then respond. So how do you go about doing that? Well, there are two things. The first one is, of course, you can leave a particular comment in that room, although that wouldn't be the ideal way to do it because it might give other players some clues. So I'd suggest that you send me a personal message. Would be the best way through the YouTube community. Or if you prefer to do it a different method, then just send me an email message, which is sean.connors68@hotmail.com, and I will try to reply as quickly as possible. I try to keep the computer on at all times, so personal messages come through will normally ping up fairly fast and I will try to reply to them. Obviously, we may be working on different time zones, so don't be too worried if you don't get through a video response for one, a few hours, shall we say, if it's a particularly clever idea or solution. But there will be video responses to come. There is a particular point in the Tomb of Curses that you cannot get past unless you provide me with a specific solution. So that will also tell me how good a player you are. So I think the tomb will stand for some time, but only you as a community will prove me wrong or right. I must give the words of warning. If you haven't already seen it, also there is the Tomb of Curses website, which was kindly provided by Mike at the Drunken Goblin. He's on my RPG channel at the top, so if you get a chance, have a look at Mike's site and have a look at the Tomb of Curses. Some brilliant information on there regarding a guy called Alistair the Vexed, who's another very experienced DM who gave some words of wisdom regarding his thoughts about building characters. Well worth seeing. Also, there's nothing to say that you can't fail with one character and then try another one. When you go back in, things will be as you left them. So you'll have already learned something by doing it. But I have no problem with this. Several people have tried to get a character through it before. In fact, one guy's tried it when I ran it at a convention. I saw him at several conventions afterwards, and he must have attempted it 4 times, I think. Not getting much further, actually. He got a little bit... well, tricky to say. Distance-wise, perhaps after 4 attempts he got slightly further. But in reality, he didn't get particularly far, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, I don't think it really matters. But you be the judge. I welcome all feedback. I'll be curious to see what you think. Obviously your comments are going to be greatly appreciated, and remember, this is a social experiment. Really, this might not go very well. It might not be quite what people think, but it certainly is a medium that I think can work. And going forward, if I was being honest, the way that I'd want to take it forward is I would want to use a location that exists and film it all in the location, and then really cut and paste it in so that you've got that specific bit of footage, those specific acting pieces that could happen. That would be great. This is a free service, so at the moment I'm afraid we're doing it on a very, very basic level, but nevertheless it's a level that can function. So I hope all in all that sort of helps. Now, a few of you have asked for some general tips about surviving the tomb. Now obviously I'm not going to tell you too much. The key is that I've tried with my descriptions within the tomb videos, I've kept it very monotoned, I haven't emphasised anything. I've tried to keep it really, really fair, so that everybody has a very fair shake of the very fair shake of the dice. I've tried to make sure that the description side of it is simple but effective, so people clearly know what they can see. There are opportunities to use some of your skills. There are opportunities to use some of your spells. And there are opportunities that you may come up with that I had not thought about. So again, as I say, I shall be very quick to adapt and add pieces in as required. But I think so far, I think we're pretty much ready to go. So, tips for surviving. Very difficult for me really to say. As I say, I can't really talk about it, so I left that up to another DM to speak about what he thought. So that's why I recommend seeing Alistair the Vexed. If I had one piece of advice for anybody, have fun, enjoy it, be honest. Only the very best will crack. Only the very best players will actually crack this tomb. You know, DMs and players are totally different things. You know, as a DM, do you have to be a good player? No. As a player, do you have to be a good DM? No. So the reality is, if somebody is a DM and wants to have a go at it, by all means do. I've already been asked questions about the design process around this. I'm going to be happy to share the design process with those DMs that are interested about the tomb itself, why it was designed the way it is, and everything like that. All I can say, and it's the one clue that I will give you, actually there's a couple of things actually I will mention. Most of the tomb is under a continual light spell. So most of the tomb already has a general light source. Most of the rooms are described. The ceiling heights in all the rooms, unless noted otherwise, is 10 foot high. Most of the doors, unless otherwise noted otherwise, are a standard size, about 6'6", 3 and a bit feet wide. So again, nothing too unique about that. You will find pretty quickly that most of the tomb, for your reference, is not trapped in terms of, is there something that we cannot see? That is not normally the answer. That is not normally the way to look at things. So when I describe things to you, that is not normally the case. However, there are a few opportunities within the tomb to search. There are a few opportunities within the tomb to obviously find something. I can't really say much more without giving anything away. But I just want you to honestly approach it as players, as DMs, with an honest, open attitude. Have a bit of fun with it, the same way that I did. Leave your comments in the various locations that you reach. You know, don't be afraid to white lie, cheat, cajole, give good advice, lie, whatever you want to do. It's fine. But when you do perish, be honest about it. So far, there are about 40 players that are going to take the tomb on, and there'll be many more to come in the days that follow. How quickly do I think the tomb will be cracked? I don't know. It's been running for a number of years now. It has not been beaten, and I've often been asked the question, why? Is it too tough? Is it beyond 5th level characters? No, it's not beyond 5th level characters. It is conceivably possible to do with any character class. And the more you understand of the tomb, and the more you begin to see it, the more you'll realise that I'm actually right in what I say and telling the truth. The other thing is that you ultimately, you'll be the decision makers about whether you're successful or not. And as I say, the very best cannot hope to reach the end, as will become apparent why. It is built on the same premise of Tomb of Horrors, but not to that degree. There are some clever tricks that I'm using in here that are of my own creation, designed to confuse, to bamboozle, to test you. Classic saying is, all that glitters is not gold. It's probably the only thing I'm really going to tell you. Other than that, enjoy the tomb. Videos go live tomorrow. I start putting them out there. It should be fairly apparent what video to go to next. I'll always try to make it simple. I should add this as a final point. So if you're in the main room and there's a door, I'll try to be really clear so you know the next video. If you decide, okay, I'm gonna go for that door, you know which video to go to next. But I'll try to make it as easy as I can, and hopefully it should all work. Anyway, I've been Sean Connors. This has been Outsiders. Have fun, take care of yourselves, and happy gaming.